Hey guys, I am waiting for my friends here who are supposed to be joining me, but happy Friday! Happy Friday! I hope you had a great week, everybody who's listening in or who's watching me. Thank God it's Friday. So I'm just giving my people a few minutes and then we're going to have this fun discussion today. I'm excited because we were just chatting about it with my friends the other day and I was like, you know what? We could actually have this conversation. So just give us a few minutes. I hope you're all well. Let me know when you're tuning in from. Let's see. Tell me who's there. If you're watching, where you're watching from. See, hi, I see somebody there. How are you? Let me see. I want to post the link for anyone to join us, but it's going to be a very fun discussion. As you can see, I'm wearing pink today because it's October and it's Cancer Awareness Month. So, okay, I see Marriage and Truth is here. Hey! Can you hear me? You're upside down. Hi, Chikazi. How are you?
I'm fine.
You're upside down. I mean, you're like on an angle. Can you see yourself?
Yeah. And
Okay,
I do
cool.
like,
This is good. That's good. That's good. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Brenda?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you for joining. This is exciting. I'm I'm trying to call other people to
Thank you.
join us.
Yeah,
Huh?
it's fine.
Okay, okay. So how are you? I see Elizabeth Nagasha is here. How are you, Nagasha? You know, my other name is Nagasha. Anyway, I used to be called Nagasha, but then no, not Nagasha, Nangasha. So hi, Taya. Hi, you guys. I have marriage tips with Asperia in the studios. She's a YouTuber. She talks about relationships, marriage, all those fun things. So this time I was like, you know what? I'm bringing you to my studio so she can talk about these discussions. Let me see. Nyangan, Karen, how are you guys? Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Cheza, African Kids, is here as well. Elizabeth, how are you doing? I see Taya, how are you? Elizabeth, I'm good. It's okay if you abandoned the name. I didn't abandon the name. I still have it as in my middle name. So my full names are Brandon Nangasha Demers. So, but most people would call me Nagasha for some reason. But my mom put an N before the G. So, please add the name Wog. Oh, the headmaster is in this building. Hey, people. Hey, Gloria. Gloria. Did I send you the link? Let's see. Asperia, can you send Gloria a link, the StreamYard link that I sent you? I'm gonna check as well. Please add the name Woga Wogabaga. That's a hard name. That's a hard name. How do you how do you actually really pronounce it, Asperia? Wogabaga, can you hear me? Can you hear us? Okay. Hi, Caesars, my sister from Namibia. You are awesome. You're like this. I missed seeing you. But guess what? I'm definitely going to plan a whole trip just to come, and I have to see you. You have to take me
Yes.
around. So I still love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. So please don't, don't kick me out of your sister circles yet. We're still buddies. We're still sisters. I promise to come and see you next time. No, you didn't. Please send. Okay, cool. Let me try to send the link. I have the link. I'm joining. Emma, can you help me send it to Gloria as well if you can? Or let me see. So guys, so we are going to be talking about opposite sex relationships or friendships, we might say. So is it okay? You guys feel free to chip in to give us your opinions. If you want to join the live stream, just let me know and I'll just put the link in the side here. Okay, so let me see maybe. Do you want me to kick the other one out, Asperia? I think.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to remove the other one, so you can just stay with one link that you just joined in with? I have two of you in here, so do you want me to remove the other one?
It's fine. She can be.
No, you have two accounts right now. So do you want me to remove one of them?
Yeah, you remove one.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'll remove this one. Okay, so now, but where's your picture? I can't see you anymore. Hey guys, hey. What's up? We're waiting for you. Let's see. Oh, no, there I can see you. So tell us, how are you doing? Can you introduce yourself to people who are watching and tell us about your channel, what you talk about, as we wait for other people to join us? Internet ya Kampala bannange, eh? Asperia, can you talk? Can you hear us? I'm telling you, one of the things that I took for granted was the internet. When I was in let's say Namibia, I kept wondering, I was like, oh my gosh, like, how can you not have internet? But to some extent, I was like, this is actually good. I needed this break from everything else. But now I can imagine, like, she's frozen. And that's because of the internet. Um, Hi, Rachel. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, just give us a few minutes. But pretty much we're talking about, actually, let me see if I can, the internet is always representing. It's the truth. It's the truth. Now I have Asperia in the studio and she's frozen. Like, I can see her and we can all see her, but she can't hear us. And of course, it's going to keep refreshing or something. But if anybody wants to join us, I would really love you guys to join us and join us on this discussion. So let me see if I can share, if I can go in and actually share the link. Others, how are you guys doing? How is your Saturday? I mean, Friday, actually not Saturday yet, as you can tell. Why is this not playing on my end? Okay, here it is on my end. Okay, guys, I just shared the link. Let's see, I just shared the link. If you want to join us, please do. Just click on that link that I just shared here. Let me show it. So that link, and then you'd be able to join us in the studios. But otherwise, we're just catching up with friends. So yesterday we had this discussion with a few of our, actually in a group, in our YouTubers group, Ugandan YouTubers group, and we're talking. There's a friend of mine, Roger. Roger was like, "Hey, Brenda, are you actually in Uganda?" And I was like, "Yes." Just lying. I was like, "Yes. Do you want to take me out for a cup of tea, or like a drink?" And so then all the other guys started saying, "Hey, Brenda, but you're married. We can't be taking you out and things like that." So I was like, "Wait a second. Just because I'm married does not mean." Okay, I hear my echo. Um, let me add Asperia back here. Asperia, are you okay now? Can you hear us? Can you hear me? I'm telling you. And she must be really struggling, ma'am. It can be frustrating, but we shall keep on waiting for you guys. Thank you. Thank you for the patience. The internet here is fast for akantu ketoloola n'owulira nga n'omutwe gukuluma mu butu. The cooking nuts. I'm telling you, the internet has its own brain. But anyway, so we were talking about Asperia. If you can hear me, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, can you talk? You're muted. You're muted. Of course, I lost her again. And Gloria is trying to join in. But of course, I don't know what's happening. Hey, Coach Remy, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. By the way, is Retro still doing the workouts? This is time for checking in. Is she still doing the workouts? Does she join? Otherwise, I'm going to send her Chiboko. Just catching up. Hi, Coach Remy, how are you? Hello, host and guest. Hope you are all good. Hey, Brenda, thank you for joining us. So, guys, I think what I'm just going to do here is the link again in case anyone wants to join us. Just click on that link. How do I pin it? How can I pin the link? But it's there in the comments. So if you guys want to join us, please feel free to join us. But so as I wait for my people who were making a lot of noise for me yesterday and wanted to talk about this topic, let's just be chatting about it. So is it okay? Do you guys think it's okay? Let's say you have your husband or you have your wife. Is it okay for your other halves, your spouses, to have opposite sex friends? And is it okay for them to, let's say, for your spouse to go out with, let's say, Brenda, to go out with different sex friends for like a drink or to the movies or dancing or anything like that? Hi, Gloria.
Hey.
How are you? Bana, Ugandan internet muli ku struggle yennyini.
Struggle naye we have to kulemerako.
I know, but thanks for joining. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for me.
Yeah, yes, Retro, please. Yes, join the link. Join the link. I would like to hear what you think as well. So please hit on the link and join us. I would like to see the guys here as well. So Coach Remy, if you want to join. Waswa is finalizing his news. Of course, that's a news guy. So he's probably on. I don't know if he's the one who replaced Bale Francis. If you're from Uganda, you remember those days of UTV of Bale Francis with the news. That was like my best news anchor ever, 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 ever. May his soul rest in peace. He's dead, right? I might be here killing somebody when they're actually still alive. Anyways, yeah, thanks for joining us. Aspera, do you wanna introduce yourself real quick to our audience? Brenda.
Wow. Hello, Brenda. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Nice to see my namesake here.
I don't usually do these things, but anyways, like personally,
But how are you? First introduce yourself to people who are watching and maybe shout out to your channel. What do you do? Because I know you're a YouTuber, so please go ahead.
hello, viewers. Actually, Brenda's viewers. I'm Brenda, and I'm also a YouTuber. I have a lifestyle YouTube channel that does everything and a lot of nothing. But regardless, we move.
Right, right. Why are you best?
Right now, I'm in Saudi Arabia, but I'm a Ugandan.
Okay, cool. Nice to have you, Brenda. So tell us, Asperia, you are muted. I wanted you to say hello to people who are watching briefly before we continue. You're muted, Asperia.
She's still at mute.
Yeah, I still see her muted. Yeah. Yes. Okay, there you go. Asperia, go ahead and introduce yourself. Say hello to people and tell them about your channel, please.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you so much for viewing us. Thank you so much wherever you are, Ugandan YouTuber. Thank you, Brenda, for this live show. My name is Asperia K. Ogabaga, and I have a YouTube channel, Marriage Tips with Asperia. So on my channel, we share about relationships, marriages, the tips that can help the young people to enter into the marriage. That is basically what I do. I'm married, I have 2 kids, and I'm a business. I do a lot of things. That is what briefly I can say about myself.
Okay, cool. Thank you for joining us, Asperia. I'm so glad your internet is behaving for now. Thank you for telling us about your channel. So, guys, if you're just joining me here or any of you, my friends, please check these guys out. Check their channels out. You never know what you can learn from what they show or what they bring us to us on their channels. So please check them out and give them some support. That would be very, very helpful. So let's see, Brenda. So what do you think? So tell us about, are you in a relationship or are you married or, are you in the process? So what do you think about having opposite sex friendships?
Literally, I'm in a crisis, but regardless, we move. It is 2021. We are moving no matter the situation. So, personally, about the question, I think it is okay with me. It is very okay, because according to me, my spouse getting like going out, having friends of the different gender, it's literally trust. Trust, like if you don't trust someone, that person would like it is how you build trust with that person. Like if you trust someone, you're very sure that even though they go out for a drink or anything, nothing is going to happen. I mean, they are just friends. That is that limit. But if you don't trust someone, probably you're going to have that mistrust in them. Like probably they're going to do something, they're going to sneak out or anything. So personally, I think it is very okay if we are having that trust, if we have built our relationship on trust. So I have no problem with it.
Okay, cool. So that's one side of things. Yes, you have no problem. So what I'm hearing from you is all about trust. How much trust have you guys
Exactly.
built between you two as boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife? So you have built that trust to the extent that you're okay with your other half going out with their friends. Is that what I'm hearing, Brenda?
Exactly. Very true. And
Cool.
I'll say no to one now. That is what I
Okay,
had to
Brenda,
say.
thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Don't worry, that crisis will end at some point. I always believe that there's always time for everything. There's time for a relationship to grow. There's time for a relationship to be on a break. There's time for a relationship to not be there and start over, and start something else. So things happen for a reason, but it's a process. So, Asperia, you are a married woman, you have children. What do you say about your husband having, let's say, girls who are his close friends? They could be close friends to a point that he can go out with them for dinner, let's say, or for a drink, for a happy hour. I don't know if happy hour is a thing, like, let's say, in Uganda or in Africa, but happy hour is pretty much a time when people are done with work and they just say, hey, can we meet at, let's say, Garden City for a drink, as friends, as co-workers and stuff like that. So what do you say about that? Is it okay in your books?
My network is not behaving well, but Brenda, can you get me?
Yes, yes.
Brenda, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mama. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Brenda,
Yes,
can
I
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, my internet is not behaving well. At
Asperia.
opposite sex with
Uh-huh.
my husband. Personally,
Mhm.
I do trust him. I trust him, and he has his private life. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
So about going out or with the opposite sex, I believe I trust my husband so much, as in so much. I don't have anything that I can attach on.
Nag. I'm telling you, Ugandan internet is something else. I'm going to sit here, learn about trust. Mr. Musingus, I think you should join us. Please join and tell us. I mean, it's not like this is just a discussion for the marrieds. It's a discussion for in general. In future, you might have a girlfriend. So would you be comfortable with your girlfriend going out with the opposite sex, let's say for a drink or just to hang out or just to watch soccer, for example? I'm a person who loves football. So, and if I have most of the people who love football are guys. So, would you be okay, Mr. Musinguzi, with me if I'm your girlfriend going out with my friends who are boys to watch soccer or to watch football or to watch tennis? So, please chip in. Let's discuss these things. What usually comes to your mind? Where does that level of mistrust come from? What can we do about such things? Because I feel like some of these things actually end up being a big block in people's relationships if you don't actually address them ahead of time. So, Asperia, I think now you're better. Your internet might be better, so you can share with us.
So you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear
So
you.
please, I say that for me, my husband going out, I have no problem with it because I trust him. And the biggest thing I would communication. Communication. If he tells me I have a meeting with friends, I don't care about which friends are they, but as long as he has told me the time that he's going to be out, I don't think I should have this kind of string attached to him. But there are some people who give room for distrust. Like you are private, you don't communicate, you don't even call your fiance or your husband or wife to tell him that you this hour you'll be out. So it creates an insecurity in that even when you try
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
saying or where you were, they don't trust you. So if you communicate, if you tell this partner, it shows that you I don't have any problem. And then on the other hand, it is also not safe, especially
I'm telling you. The internet. We need to visit Mama Fina for this internet, I think. Emma, where are you? Can you ask Mama Fina to intervene here? This internet is something else. Yes, Chikazi, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your internet. Yes.
it is not really good. But as I said, that it is not good for opposite sex still to be together. It depends on the level of friendship. Like there are sometimes when a lady can be crushing on a man at work, like workmate, but yet you don't know. So when you give time to them to go out together, maybe every time, they feel so close to you, and you may end up not controlling what will come out.
Okay,
Because even in
hold on
physics, they
there.
say that unlike
Hold on, Asperia. Hold on. So you just made a statement. You said somebody could be having somebody they are getting close to at work, but you don't know. So why are you assuming that they
yes,
have that somebody? Where is that coming from?
that is coming from somehow experience, because there are sometimes when you're working with someone, then they just like you, they like your personality, they like the way you do things. So in the long run, they end up getting attracted secretly to you, admiring you privately. So this person can ask you for an outing, like they want to take you for a drink, so that they will maybe pass out their message.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go with that person and you're together, you're not having any other person, like maybe a third person, you may not control what will come out. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it depends on each person, which level of friendship, before you make up your mind to go with that person out. You have to understand who they are. If it is just friendship purely, I don't care. But if there are other strings attached, I don't think it would be safe for opposite sex to go for even a drink.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. So now I see your point as well. So I guess so I'm trying to put in picture what you just said. So but that was on let's say, okay, there's maybe a guy out there, my workmate, let's say, who I'm friends
Mm,
with, and he maybe has developed
mm,
these stronger feelings for me, you know. So and he's asking me, oh,
mm,
if we can go out. So, but Brenda here maybe doesn't know, or maybe you
mm,
could see some signs that yes, this guy has feelings for me. So to avoid any
mm,
chances of maybe, also you developing feelings for this guy, going out for a drink or continuing to go out with this person might not be a good idea, especially if you're in a relationship already. Is that correct? That's like pretty much what you're saying. So, and then would you disclose that to your other half, for example, to your husband, and be like, you know what, there's this guy at work who likes me, and I think he has feelings for me or something like that. Would you? So we're talking about communication. Would you disclose that to your husband?
Yes, personally, I would disclose that to my husband, because I know he knows the time I'm supposed to come back home after work. And
Mhm.
sometimes he can call, maybe when with this friend you're seated out and you're having a discussion, and then he calls you and be like, "Where are you?" And you can't lie to him that you're at work, yet you're not at work. you are somewhere having a drink. So to avoid some insecurities, you can call him and maybe let him know, text him and tell him, Habi, I'm going out, I'm going with a friend, we are going to have lunch. Now he wants to meet you. You are able to answer some of the questions that that can raise from maybe that experience.
Now, yeah, so I think to me, to even avoid going that far is if let's say you felt that way about that friend, I mean, if he asked me like to go out for a drink with him, that's where I think is the best time for you to tell him. But you know what? I think this relationship, first of all, is going beyond what it should be. So that I think you need to let these people know. You need to let that person know that maybe he's trying to cross the line, that friendship line now. So you don't want to lose him as a friend, but you want him to know where his friendship stops. And of course, some people might not know that's how they feel about you is not how you feel about them. I mean, there's scenarios where even when you're a married person, people will still approach you. I mean, it's not you calling them to approach you, but they'll approach you, and how they feel about you is not something that you can control sometimes. So, but it's on you to like actually look at that friendship and be like, hey, okay, so this is kind of trying to cross the friendship line. And I'm a married person. I respect you. I like you as my great friend, but this is where the friendship has to stop. So that's a communication between you and that person, and not between you and your husband and that person. Because it's you two relationship. So your husband does not necessarily most times have to get dragged in unless this person now decides to keep insisting and is trying to make your life uncomfortable, and you think it might be affecting you and your husband's relationship, then you might bring in your husband. But I think we are capable of drawing that line with that friendship of ours, because it's our friend, not my husband's friend to begin with, right? So communication goes a long way, and I think that might help us to solve some of what is yet to come from this friendship. You tackle it right away and it stays where it's supposed to stay, right? That's my opinion in things. But so let's see what are you guys saying. What's Musinguzi saying? Cooking that's why on my behalf. But I would love to hear, guys, so what usually first of all, Asperia, so before you got married, you had friends, right? Let's say boys, guys. What happens after you get married? Does marriage mean that you need to stop having those friendships? Here is my man. Hi, Emma.
Yeah.
Emma Gambachi Mukwano.
Jendi.
I'm not supposed to call you Mukwano. Auntie ndi mukazi mufumbo, eh?
It's very okay. Ebyo bisinga okunsanyusa nze. Kibagamba mu gulopo nze njagala nnyo abakyala.
Nkulaba. It could even be you, the married person, getting attracted to the other person. How do you handle it? This is a great question. Musinguzi. Yes. And this could be both to a guy and the woman, So how would you handle it? Yes. But let's first welcome Live Kampala, Emma. Emma Ogambachi.
Jendi. I'm good.
Good.
My name is Waswa Emmanuel. Hope you guys are getting me well. Allow me to say greetings to them.
Yes. Please introduce yourself and tell us all about you. What do you do, Emma, apart from being the Ballet Francis of Uganda? What else?
Ballet Francis my name is Ross Emmanuel. I'm a YouTuber. That's what people know about me. A YouTuber owning 2 channels, Waswa Emma and Trust Media Uganda. So I believe in myself that I'm one of those biggest YouTubers in Uganda.
And you
So I'm
are.
just I'm following up to be among the best in Africa. That's not what I'm targeting on. So allow me to pass by Mike Arango. All of you,
Yes. Please do,
tap
Emma.
on Be Organic. If you feel you're sick, you're having pressure, ulcers, obesity, you're lacking manhood. Mr. Musingus, I know you're lacking manhood. Join us, and we'll see what to do. So I'm great that I'm here. Let me join the discussion, and we'll see what next.
Okay, we're so glad to have you, Emma. Tusanyuse nnyo okulaba mu studio zaffe. You guys, and I know most of you, some of you who are watching are not familiar with Luganda or any of these Ugandan.
We are going to use English, my dear.
We're going to use English. Today,
English.
Emma is using English.
English
Abeera oli afuuweta Oluganda as if alya popcorn. I'm like, dude.
You know, some of us, I don't want to use the word I could use. We are hustlers. You know that I understand more than 5 languages.
I wouldn't be surprised, Emma. I would not be surprised.
You know, I can't even greet you in another language.
Setula.
Sudani.
Sudani.
I always tell guys that I'm a Sudani, they tend to whatever. But that's the fact. Okay, let's go for the topic.
Yes. So guys, so I have Emma in my studio and I have Asperia. We were just chatting with Asperia about friendships, opposite sex friendships. So, and we're mostly talking about friendships that come when you are already in like a strong relationship. For example, going out like a boyfriend or a fiance, or you're married, or you're in a strong relationship. So what do you do about other friendships, like opposite sex friendships? Let's say Brenda and mukazi mufumbo. So I'm a married woman and I have very many friends who are guys. So is that wrong? Is that right? And what does society think about such friendships? Or what does your spouse think about such friendships? Are we not supposed to have opposite sex friends? How far can those friends go? So those are the things we're talking about today. So Emma,
I've been following the discussion.
Huh?
I've been watching news, by the way. That's why I've delayed to come on board. But I've been following the thing. Yeah.
That's fine. So let's start with Mr. Musinguzi here. Bananga Gloria is trying to join, but she keeps not joining.
The problem she's using Laika.
I don't know what she's trying to, what she's connected to.
I even directed her to go to the link in the comment section.
Yeah, I see her. She's popping up in the studio down here, but I still can't, like, she comes in and goes away. She comes in and goes away, which is usually because of the internet. So Mr. Musinguzi, yeah, it's probably Laika, yes.
Over MTN. MTN is good. MTN is good and Airtel, but Laika, my dear.
Bannange tulumbiddwa. What is this now? Webcam HD will satisfy your wishes online. Oh, Katonda wange. How do we remove these things? I feel like this is a spam. Manze tufudde.
Maybe if you can access your
I can block user. I think so. Put user in timeout. Let me see. Okay, Mugobi Oyo. Okay, cool. I put him in timeout. Hello, Brenda and chat. Hey, this is Africa. So, Oli Mugobi Bananga, I think it was a spam. Bananga, buno busajja nabo butulumba nnyo.
You mean a spam or a scam?
A spam or scam, byonna. Everything, Emma. So let's start with Mr. Musinguzi's question here. We were just chatting about this, me and Asperia, and he's actually going back to what we're talking about. So he's saying it could even be you, the married person, getting attracted to the other person. How do you handle that? So I'm wondering if, like, how do you handle it, Pat? Is it for you as a person who is trying to get attracted to the other person, or is it Is he asking about your spouse, for example? So Asperia, what do you think? What's your take on this question?
I think, yeah, like you say, that even when you're married, you can still get attracted to other people. We have seen such scenarios where you find a married woman is falling for a young man and maybe wants to bring out her feelings and tell him. So if I would avoid that, I know it could bring an issue between my relationship. I would just cut off that outing. I tell him or her, I say, no, I can't make this. We can have a drink maybe from here, or I involve other people. Maybe I call friends, like I just sponsor that outing. Maybe go like more than two. Because if you go two people, trust me, you have feelings for this person, you can still get attracted. Just like, unlike pose, they attract, and you never know, you even start romancing. I've seen a friend who went out and she had a friend, they just went out on a friendship basis, but when they reached there, they had a drink, they had chips and chicken, and then after that, from nowhere, the guy was extending the chair in her legs and they started romancing, and what followed was not good. So to avoid such temptations, I think you can say no to that outing. You can just you be friends but on a distance.
Okay. So I guess it depends on like how I mean, what you just explained was they went out. I wonder if your friend knew that this guy actually had more feelings for her. I mean, because that's a weird act. Like a guy, that was very fast for the guy to immediately start pulling a chair, and before you know it, okugura kuyisiza on top of her legs. That's kind of a weird behavior. Emma, what do you think?
Okay, first and foremost, you guys, I don't think that both of you take alcohol. Do you take Asperia?
Do you do what?
I don't.
Do you take alcohol? You don't. So here in Uganda we say omwenge mperekezi ya stand. It's like alcohol is how do you call mperekezi? Is a friend.
It kind of leads you. It kind of leads you to doing bad things. Yes.
Okay, then I'm very clear on my point. So at the moment you go to a bar or to a place to take some drinks, you go with that person, not seeing even her beauty. You see, she looks normal to you. At the moment you start boozing some little drinks, then the face starts changing. You start beautifying her slowly by slowly. You know, drinks and alcohol tend to take away people's shyness. So at that moment, you start developing some other things. I don't know what chemical they put in alcohol, but alcohol is something different in this world. Because even someone whom you think that is very shy, after taking some sips of beer or whatever, you know, things change. You see. So I don't blame that guy who started extending chairs.
But they had only eaten chips and chicken and sausages. They hadn't even had alcohol.
Let me tell you something. At the here we have, you have stayed in America for some good time. So you have those behaviors of those people, the Bazungu. They have their kind of nature, whereby people don't go for adultery, they don't fornicate, they rarely fornicate. You know, someone is having one lover and, overa wamwao, you don't even look for other things. But here, we have another perspective of an African understanding. Are you getting it? So here in Africa, specifically in Uganda, it's quite different. Are you getting it? It's so
why
hard.
though? Why is it? Why is it Why is it now according to the geography? According to, I feel like we're not really humans. Like at the end of the day, relationships are relationships. Well, it comes back to like where most people will ask me, Brenda, is it the same thing having a muzungu, or they will say, goli mukazi wa muzungu, like you married to a white guy. I'm like, at the end of the day, you forget, muzungu is just a color.
Let me tell you something else. This is Brenda. Culture and nature They are the ones who justify our situation. In Africa, we totally see things different. In an African setting, we believe in polygamy. You know that? Having so many wives is part of satisfaction, it's part of wealth, it's part of showing your manhood, which is not the case in Europe or in those other countries altogether. So here in Africa, it's so rare to have a partner who is a lady working with her, and on rare occasions you find them, it's rare not for them having an intimacy. Are you getting it? Why? Some of the reasons are here. I'll give you an example of music, because for us, we are in the music industry. So I'll give you that direct example, whereby there is too much of men having affairs with ladies in the music industry because of one. In most of the cases, you come up, like me, I'm a blogger, many girls approach me for their music careers. So someone comes to you when maybe she's poor, lacking money or anything else, you give her assistance, sometimes for free. But after making her successful or giving her some goodies, she's like, Manangi, what can I pay this guy? You see? She ends up feeling that you're demanding her something. You're not even in the mood. Are you getting it? So we end up suing them, not because we want, but because they put us in the mood. Secondly, you're working with a girl as the manager. You always move with her in the same vehicle. If sometimes you go to those village areas for those shows, you end up sharing same rooms. Are you getting it? It's extending Kaugi to fire. Omuzigo nent. Omuzigo kumuliro. Am I clear?
There you are.
Some simple examples. So it's like I told you that you can start working with someone when you're not seeing her beauty. But the more you stay with that person, you start seeing her beauty. Because every time she's undressing in front of you to put on other dresses for stage. Every time you're with her in the studios, you always see her with makeup. Every time, you always see her good things. So at that time, you start admiring her. And because you're doing good things for her, so most of the ladies are always inferior because they lack money, they don't have money. Now, if you do so many things for her, she starts feeling that thing in her. That man, this guy
they start having an attraction. Something is attracting them to you.
Not even
it could be because of your kindness.
Yes. So for us here in Africa, like for your cases there, if you're loving people, you always focus on the principles and other things on your side. But for us here in Africa, it's not the case. We focus on some small things. Like
but now, Emma. But now let me ask you a question. So does that mean I'm like Emma? Somebody is calling me. But let me ask you then. So the situation you're in, Katinga Gweboli, is different. So what will happen when, let's say, you decide to settle?
Okay.
Let's say when you actually find a girlfriend now and you're committed in a relationship, how is your behavior? How are you able to control yourself? Even though so like, of course, because of the nature of the work you're in or job or whatever, right? You're surrounded by all those people. So once you settle, you as Emma, how are you able to control yourself? Is that behavior going to keep on? Like, how are you going to change from being that Emma who's like, hey man, and then before you know it, but now you're committed to some other person's daughter. How is that behavior going to change?
Before I reply that question, there is something. I have a belief in me that committing adultery or cheating on your wife or your girlfriend is not bad if you're not caught. Are you getting it?
No, that is even very wrong. You should be your own police person. In relationships, it's one of those wrong things that I always hear.
Do you know that in most of those occasions, the first victim of adultery or cheating you're single kafiramu. Most of the times, if you're caught, if you're the man and then the lady gets you red-handed or gets to know you that you're cheating on her, she's going to become furious on you because you're the first victim. Yet she's also having other people behind her. But because she's the first person to get you, then you're becoming a victim. That's why things go wrong. Are you getting it? So for you, then I'm coming back to your question. You've asked that how am I going to handle my life as well after settling? First and foremost, my wife or my girlfriend by that time will have to first understand me. Because my phone, you know that on my phone, on my Airtel number, the one you know, it is always having 700 messages.
Yes.
I'm getting it. So she will first need to first understand the kind of person she's living with.
Yes, which is normal for everybody. Yes, that's why there's that time to actually first learn, first study, first understand the person you're falling in love with or you're starting a relationship with. And then you decide, will I handle this or I will not handle this? And if you go ahead and stay with it and say, yes, this is the Emma that I was attracted to. He gets phone calls at 2 a.m. in the night. I saw that when we were dating. So, but that brings us to another question later. Okay, keep going.
Okay, now if I'm to answer the other one, for real, you know, we should be living in a reality, not fixations, like living a life of movies. Most of the ladies I always see and people, I don't know whether you're getting it because my network has changed.
No, I can get to, yeah, you're fine. Yes.
Okay, because the pictures here are now staggering.
What
it's like I'm
fits fine, yeah.
And to Uganda. My point is here that most of the people tend to think or tend to believe in life of like movies, whereby things are perfect, forgetting that it's a story written by someone that if I slap you, you will not return. People should learn to live in the reality. You slap me, I will need to give you back some checks. Now, for real, for me protecting myself, I don't know how I'll do it because I'm seeing something difficult on my side. What I'll just do is only one. I'll just make sure that I protect my family from not getting diseases. You see? So I'll try to survive in my own life. I'm getting it. To make sure that I protect my people for the good of my family, for the good of my wife, my kids to live. Because if I become reckless in life, they will end up losing me. Maybe I will die. She will remain a widow. Those one will be orphans. I'm getting it. So it will be my responsibility as a man, as a husband. I always promise myself that I'm going to be a good dad to my kids. Because for my case, I have lived that life of, of Kavuyo from my parents. So I wouldn't love to see that same thing applying to my kids. I'm getting it. But I'm telling you, issues concerning temptations of intimacy, my dear, it's so hard unless otherwise. Most especially for us who are living this kind of life. It's all about you giving them respect, making sure that your work is done outside the boundaries of your home. Make sure that your people don't get to know you.
No, but Emma, does that mean you're justifying that even in your situation, in your like how you are, it's okay for you to still be tempted and you stray, but you do it outside your home, outside your girlfriend knowing? Are you justifying that it's okay, it's right?
I'm not justifying it to be right. It's not right. But I'm talking out of the reality cases and what we are living in. This is not a movie. We are discussing about your life temptations and issues coming across us. I have told you that here in Uganda, I'm getting it. Like I have my uncle. I don't know whether he will hear me. Let me hope he may not. He doesn't get to know that I was talking about him. He deals in property. He got a lady. They started as friends. I'm getting it. The lady was a bit richer. They started doing business. My uncle was a bit clever, and he was the brain behind that. So he's a very honest man, according to how I know him. But when time went on, he felt in love with that lady. I asked him myself that uncle Checha about what happened. He told me that Jasoka ne yekuma ne yefuga n'abeera muntu mukulu. I'm getting it. But after all, the lady was like, you guys. Because they're always in the same kaundo, in the same Benz, doing their business concerning land. I'm getting it.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone was like, you guys, you're not serious. How can you go and come somewhere and go on the same one every day? They move together every day, they work together, they go for property together. I'm getting it.
And your uncle was married already with children.
He was married with children, but he ended up loving that lady because of the business perspective. Because they had built a big empire in just a period of 3 years with the lady. So any mistakes he could do, he could end up missing the business, which was feeding his kids and the family at home. So he told him, Tabani, I always earn 15M per month. So if I do any mistake, I miss out. So the guy committed adultery because of feeding the family at home, feeding his wife and the kids. I'm getting my point. So not because he wanted to do it, but because there was an interest of business. That's what I've told you here. You work with the lady here in Kampala, you work good, you do everything well, and it's like, oh no, guy, no compact. We have to make it happen. So things go beyond. So you sit in a point whereby if you refuse to fall in love with her, you're losing out millions of money.
Now I'm wondering what the wife, like Asperia, like if you put who's this guy spamming Brenda's live? Namagovia, digest him, don't worry. So I blocked him, so I hope he doesn't come back. But so man, I understand it's reality. It's sometimes people do it because they're tight in that position of, if I don't do this, I'm going to lose like all my, let's say, all my way of taking care of my family. But I wonder what the wife, like there, Asperia, if you were that guy's wife, what comes to your mind? What's, how would you be feeling about this?
Yeah, it would be something very terrifying, and it wouldn't be good because this is a guy that you trusted, but I would want to know from Emma, there are some men that don't trust their wives with business, and they don't tell them anything about their business. So when they go in deep there, they find they are trapped in there with other ladies and they have no control. And sometimes you also look at the distance. Sometimes the man lives from maybe Western Uganda, like in Bushen district, and the business is in Mbale this way. So you find that the guy could have also jumped the temptation, but because of the distance where his wife lives, you find he had no control and so on. So on this matter, if I were the wife, I would consider a lot of things. And of course, there are some things that have already been done, and they cannot be erased, and they cannot be done anything, So if I was this man's wife, of course, I don't want to be one, but I would have looked at this whole matter and maybe see how I can handle it. For example, if the distance is the problem, we could see how we can come together, but so many other reasons to be considered. There are sometimes when people are far away doing business, but in their heart, they have this inner contentment. You find he knows he has his wife, and even if you do what, he knows he has his wife. But if this man did that, it means that he was not contented, because what he was looking for in that lady was not actually business, but sexual satisfaction. Because if he wanted business, then the lady was doing it. but they wanted to go on a more than business so that they be attached together. Maybe they can do more business, maybe also make other children, and they just remain in the business as partners, you know. So, your uncle did not really do well, but of course, as he said, there are some other things that are a reality and it has already happened, and there's nothing that you can do about it. So I think most of people who do those things, they just lack contentment, and that is why temptation usually take them. And I also want to talk about Emma's well, like he said that his wife to be must know who he is, what he does, and he said that even if he cheats on her, as long as she's not aware of what he's doing, it wouldn't be any problem. Then I would also want to ask you, Emma, if you find your wife, like your wife to be, doing that behind your back, would you be happy? Because in this, marriage is not about self, it's not about how I feel about things, but how about this other person that I have. So if Emma, you come from field, you are from your snakes and you're very tired, you come and you find your wife is kissing some other woman, some other man, or you find very nasty messages in her phone, I guess you would feel fine because she's
Okay.
trying to protect you. And so I think it is a matter of having love, where you feel you love yourself and you love this person just like you do to her what you want to be done to you.
Will I respond clearly on that?
Go ahead, Emma. Thank
One,
you, Asperia. Thank you.
Mrs. Asperia. First and foremost,
Yes.
me, one of my nature kind, I don't know whether I'm just a joker, but me, I don't focus on things which are not, which don't concern me. For example, I don't check on my girlfriend's phone. I don't. I can't even be tempted because it's always in my mind. You know, may have a belief. I don't know whether it's just a stupid belief, but me, I trust you when I'm with you. At the moment you give me back like this, I'm like cancer. Are you getting it? So me, I'll never check in her
Yes.
phone. That's one. Secondly, at the moment I get to know her that she's cheating on me, then that's when I'll take an action. But and here say,
So what action would you take? What action would you take, Emma?
There are two actions I can take.
Mm-hmm.
One, I may forgive you depending on the situation. Because, you know, let me tell you something else, one. In life, you have to be an opportunist. Me, I'm an opportunist. I can sacrifice something because I want something. So I may get you cheating on me, but before focusing on anything else, I'll first think of the good things I'm getting from you. If I get to see that what you've done is very bad on my side, that's when we shall resolve it. Let me tell you something. It's not my first time to come across my girlfriend cheating. No, it has been several times. But some of us, you reach at a point whereby you focus on something else. Because let me tell you, whenever you focus on your lady or on your girlfriend, you always stay in pain. I hate pain. I first focus on my life. Go kwenda konje mood about what do I lose if you have cheated? Are you getting it? I'm not just saying this because of Amba Kudarida, but I'm telling you, you have to be an opportunist. In my early stages, like around senior 4, 5, 6, I used to date girls because I had love for them and I loved them clearly. As I'm growing, by that time I could date people basing on their beauty, on their figure, their looks. These days, if I'm dating, I don't focus on that specifically. I first focus on the value someone is adding on me. Are you getting it? So for us, we are becoming opportunists in life. You first focus on what you're getting from that person. That's when you react. So at a point, I may keep quiet. Why? First keep quiet and see what's the value that person is adding on you. So me, with my nature of love, I first focus on myself. That is me. I know it pains if you get someone cheating on you. That thing pains. That's why I don't even want to think of it that my girlfriend is cheating. I don't even want to think of it because I know how it pains. That's why I always focus on the positivity and the good things I'm getting from you, and I always want them if I'm getting them. I'll not say that I'm getting one because at my age, you won't tell me that I'm getting one.
Emma, wetaga sala. Wetaga sala, Emma. So, but let me intervene here for a second. So, yes. I think what we're talking about, I think what we're looking at is people falling in love for different reasons. So, and people ending up with people for different reasons. So, some people are, what I'm hearing is people are ending up with, let's say, a wife, ending up marrying a wife or having sex with a woman because of the business side of things, because you're scared of losing the business attachment you have with that person, the money attachment with that person, the values they're bringing to you other than actually love, you know. So, but I think people are forgetting that if let's say you are actually, like, why is it that you're actually looking for somebody to settle with in the first place? What attracts you to that person? What gives you that, like, what makes you think, okay, I'm now ready to take that step to find Asperia and graduate her from being my girlfriend to actually being the person I want to spend the rest of my time with? That usually that is a big step, Emma, people take. It means she's going to be she might not be your best friend, but eventually she can grow to be your best friend. Because this is a person you share a bed with. I'm thinking, yes, if you're married to that person, you better be sleeping in the same bed, because otherwise, what will you? You know, so you wake up, you look at that person. That's the first person you look at when you wake up. Even people who sleep with their babies in bed, still, you wake up, the baby is maybe small. You look at your wife or you look at your husband's face or your husband's butt or your husband's back, you know, depending on where they're facing. So usually that's the first person you say good morning to, or the last person you say good night to, in like normal relationship situations. So now where it starts to be like, okay, you're not with this person for different reasons, for work or for business, you know, travels and stuff, and you start eyeing this other person who's maybe you travel with all the time. People get into entanglements with secretaries, or with, you know, secretaries these days can be women or men. So if I'm a boss and I'm a lady, I could have a secretary who's a guy. So just because they end up knowing all your business, like, they know your programs, you talk to them all the time, because you spend more time at work with other people. In normal situation, in reality, you end up spending more time with people outside your own house. Like, we work 8 hours a day. So in those 8 hours a day, unless you work with your wife or with your husband in the same office, then yes, you see yourselves all the time. But 98% of the time, you don't work with your spouses. So what brings that gap? What brings that space where now you start getting too attached to Emma, who is not your husband? One, you're not having enough time with your spouse. So your relationship is growing out. So you have to find all these situations that are leading to these things happening. Don't just sit there and be like, hey, you know what? The things I do, I have no choice. I have to be seeing this person. No, you're allowing it. You're allowing your heart to actually start falling for that person. And you're the same person who can actually control that. You know, you can also control that by telling that person who is always in your face. You have that in you. You just decide not to bring that Emma out or that Brenda out to say it. You know, I love you, Emma, you're my friend, like we spend all day together, but you were working on different projects together. But at the end of the day, I have this other person in my heart that I cannot cheat on. You know, you can do it. You just decide not to. You allow your heart to keep growing away from the person that you actually are in love with, who's at home maybe, and you start approaching. I mean, there are people who have that in nature, like thinking, oh, you know, I don't even believe in such religions. Like, I think it's just an excuse that Africans or religions used to just be to do incests or to do like to just kubera benzi. I don't even know the English word.
Madam, let me a bit intervene in your submission. It's a very clear one. But I'm telling you, realistically, I don't want you to forget that our societies work much in nurturing our community. You know that.
Our societies do what?
Our societies, the communities we stay in, and our cultural beliefs, they contribute too much in nurturing the personalities we have in the community.
But we allow it. We allow the society.
You know, here do you know the reason as to why you're having that mentality in you?
Don't tell me because I've stayed there. No,
I have not that.
No, because I'm married to a different culture.
Let me tell you, you have stayed in a culture whereby people respect what it means to be a partner. I'm telling you, you're not the first person I've been talking to who stays in America, who stays in Bungereza, whatever. Those guys, what I like from them is that people respect their husband, their girlfriends, their boyfriends, which is not the case in Africa. Here, I'm telling you the fact.
No, I don't want to believe that, Emma. I don't want to believe that. I have uncles, and I mean, I have family in Africa. Whereby they also still respect the people actually who respect their spouses to the extent, like, yes, they have temptations. They have society everywhere. It's actually become crazy. I keep talking to all my friends who are like, when I Brenda, even for Uganda, yeah, like the things are crazy. Like you can be there walking with your husband and a girl comes out of nowhere and she's like, hey, dude, I love you. I like you. Before you know it, the girl is hitting on your husband.
You're just blessed because those people who still have that nature, that kind of belief, those ones between 1 in a million. Yes, those ones are few. I don't say that the whole society is spoiled. No, we are just few who are spoiled. But those ones who still who believe in that as the way you're believing in it, they are there. And love still exists. People are there in Uganda here, whereby they respect their spouses, they respect their partners. They are living a holy life. We have them. That's the fact. But also those ones who are rebels, we are very many, my dear.
Because rebels, you allow your hearts to be rebels. You just give excuses as to why you should actually disrespect your wives.
Madam, the biggest disease we're having in Africa and in Uganda is Kaogo.
What is that? Kaogo, what is it?
Kaogo is money.
Oh.
I'm getting it. Money has financial difficulties. That is the source of the biggest problems you are having in Uganda here, my dear. Paper, money has become the source of temptation and the source of problems. In fact, let me tell you something else. Those people you're seeing, if you have an office here in Kampala, like you're having an office with a boss, those young girls we employ to work for us, they most of the times come with a target. At the moment she enters your office, she starts focusing on how she can conquer you.
And what are you doing in the meantime? You can tell she's having all those signs. What are you doing?
Let me tell you, if she fails to track you with those Butego, we call them Bunyebwa, someone like, how do you call a Kanyewa in Luzungu? If you fail by that simple attraction she does.
It's like a trap, yeah.
That trap, at least she will go to the witch to make sure she gets you. Because after those girls engaging, yes, after them engaging to our offices, now they feel like this is now my life. I've been in a poor life. Let me make sure that I get this guy. So you start fighting the temptation at the same time someone is pulling you. because those ladies are always looking for good life. You know, men in Kampala are few, and men who are ready to settle with their wives are very few. Like me, we are very few.
nga
Are you
kiki
getting it?
lwaki embwa zaabakomba mu bigere kiki
Simba kutukomba mbigere, you know. But due to financial problems, these days men are becoming. Do you know the reason as why prostitution is growing in Kampala?
Mhm. Yeah,
Do you know why?
poverty. People are poor.
Not because of poverty. Poverty is first, but it's growing because those girls who are on the streets are getting many customers. Do you know where those customers are coming from? We are the ones. Because people don't have money to facilitate their girlfriends. Just coning in Kampala here, coning for 2 weeks, you end up spending 100,000. So someone is like, this 100,000 I can't manage. Let me spend 20,000 and get someone to facilitate to satisfy me. I go off. That's why you're seeing prostitution is growing. You're seeing things of cheating are growing because ladies are there waiting for the 20K you're going to offer her, and at the same time, men are ready to offer that small money because someone will be like, okay, just date Asperia in Kampala here. She will start dating, asking for nail facilitation, rent, whatever. Since she's asking for that too much money, and bebazi saba na fere tuzina. Are you getting it? So people are like, the same thing I'm getting from Asperia is the same thing I'm going to get from the street. Now people have resorted not to having love, but to focusing on satisfying their bodies. Someone is like, I go Mugongo Numa, let me go to the road. He goes there and spends only 20K. 20K is even too much. At only 7,000, you can get a lady in Kampala here. So someone's like, let me just go and satisfy myself. Those are $2, I think.
It's like even $1.
Yes.
And
Then
maybe
he comes home
$2.
and he sleeps. Are you getting it? So financial difficulty or financial problems is the biggest problem because both of the ladies are facing the same problem, even men are facing the same problem. That's why you're seeing even marriages are reducing, whereby people are not ready to facilitate their marriages since you don't have money. You're working for 10,000 shillings only. How will you manage to divide that money to facilitate that lady and facilitating your life? So someone decides to stay single in his or her kazigo. That's why you're seeing ladies are flopping now. So if a lady gets a chance of coming close to that person who is well off, is like one on feed out. So these days, women in Kampala are ready to even stay 5 of them on one man. Someone is like, because those few are fumbo, they're the rich men who can give out 100K per week. That's why you're seeing married men are having over 20 spouses following them. Because that one married man, a richer man, is able to satisfy all those ladies without little money. Are you getting it? So ladies are ready to welcome that extra 20K for buying car light, for treating the hair and whatever, for paying rent for them. So those ones who tend to miss out, they also resort to the streets to get something for a living. So these young girls who are 20, she has been unemployed. She has been suffering to look for a job. Parents are chasing her from home. Are you getting it? So when she gets to get a chance of standing in front of you, they will make sure they get you. And biologically, you should believe that many senses are very poor. You know, a man can be simply attracted. You guys are having your men there abroad because your men, they are still loyal to you, and at the same time they're not facing as much as the temptations we are facing in Kampala. People are still safe because people are minding their business abroad there. But here, people are minding other people's businesses. Girls are ready to fight to stay with those men. You tell someone I'm having a girlfriend, now I'm getting it. So there are so many factors why in Kampala or in Uganda, the case study is just around here in Uganda, why things are falling out, why adultery is becoming common. Rachel when also say these days of it's very common. Are you getting it? Very common and normal. If your girlfriend gets to know you that you have a girl in Zambia, in Machindie, but as long as you're giving them what they want. So if they're lacking sex in bed, they'll go somewhere to get that simple sex, they come back to you. So you stay in a circle whereby otekamu ezirabirira n'akatono k'ofuna, then if she wants to be satisfied in bed, she gets someone. Because here in Kampala, sex is now simple to get. Even if I want it now, I can access it. Not from my wife, but from anywhere. So sex is no longer divine as we used to believe that sex was. Like 15 years back, to hear people playing sex, it could be, hey, man, what's my information? Are you getting this?
Wow.
But
Okay.
now, things have become so easy. Whenever you go, or in your phone, whatever, on Facebook, that's why things are now falling apart.
Wow, Banag. Emma, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. So guys, thank you so much who are watching, who have tuned in, who are following, who are contributing to this conversation. We appreciate you. I appreciate all your comments and your contributions. I'm speechless at some point. So Emma, thank you so much again for all your contributions. I am hearing everything 100%. Asperia, thank you so much for everything, for your contribution as well. So now, I am wondering, from what I'm hearing from Emma is everything like relationships have been monetized in a way that is increasing divorce, for example, in relationships or in marriages as a result of money, desire for more money. Families breaking up because of money, desire for more money. Like, is everything now like rotating around money? Is that what everything is being focused on in relationships, in marriages, in family building? How can we change this? How can this come back to the normal where families grew, families stayed together, in poverty and in richness? And what's happening? What can we do as people who are, let's say, younger people who are looking to be in relationships? How can we change this dialogue? Emma, you're not in a relationship yet. If you are, you have a girlfriend or something, or you have girlfriends.
Do you know that at this point, many of them, even if I want to marry tomorrow, I can marry. I'm just on running away like this.
So if you, like, that's not even a relationship. Like, what you're trying to do is not even like what we used to call marriage. That is a coincidence, entanglement with somebody's daughter. Because you're saying, do you know, if I wanted to marry tomorrow, I could wake up and marry somebody. Like that, how long has this, you don't just wake up and marry somebody unless you're in the Hangover movie and you wake up in Las Vegas.
Let me tell you something else.
For some reason, you woke up and you had signed.
That's why I've told you that. It's because here these days, see, things are turning upside down. Even ladies themselves are blood into Allah. Take me.
Yeah, but like, what is bringing that? Why is this happening? Is what I'm trying to understand.
You tell her, I don't have money. I'm not yet prepared. She's like, may I have my own house. If you accept, come to my place, we shall work from there, and we save money for rent. So that's why I'm telling that their marriage is becoming simple, because the ones we are supposed to marry, they are very ready, even more ready than even us, who are going to marry them. That's why things are becoming very easy like that. Are you getting it? So, as this Obadiah has said, that people have confused lust and love. Yes, the biggest problem is money everywhere. Now you have asked for the solutions to that. I think it will start from the top, because things right from the government, things are spoiled. People have been, psychologically tortured. People are poor. People have now resorted to focus on money. Not until all the government processes and systems have come into proper positions, whereby someone, that stress of paying too much rent, looking for money reduces. That's when things will go back to normal. Things used to be normal when everything was still cheap. But as of now, even at the point when now government has said that it selling nail punch in Uganda is going to become illegal. Man, things are becoming so hard. So it has to start from the government to first check in itself and see what went wrong. How can we bring back the souls of our people? People's souls have gone away because of the too much poverty in this country. People are now focusing on how they can survive. They are resorting to, there's this guy, Mussolini. For us historians, we learn from the past. Mussolini said that it is a survival for the fittest. Now that's what is happening in Uganda. People are now hustling to make sure they survive. People are ready to do whatever possible to make sure that their lives can survive. Are you getting it? So we have to first, our government has to first sort out itself so that things can be in position and that pressure reduces. After that pressure reducing, maybe people's souls will come together and then things will turn to be in the normal senses. Love will come back, marriage will be in position. But as long as you're still living in this
Now
kind
we're
of
putting
situation,
things on the government, huh? Now
the
we're
government,
finding somebody else to blame for our own actions.
we are no, our own actions are having strings attached on them.
I
Because
think
I've
we
told you
could
that
do
money,
better.
money has become a problem. Now, who is the main problem? Who is the main cause as to why money is becoming a problem? It's the government policies. There are so
No,
many poor
let
policies.
me tell you, Emma, poverty is everywhere. Like
It's not
money,
everywhere.
it is everywhere. That's the thing that you guys don't understand. Like I have KBM here.
Yes.
Listen, Emma. I have KBM. Let me first welcome KBM. Thank you so much for joining us, KBM.
Thank you.
He goes by Kenyan by marriage, but he's American. So KBM, real quick before you even say anything, is there poverty in America?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Thank you.
In your face.
Everywhere. If I walk down my street, maybe not my street, but like if I drive to an hour to the city, you will see poverty, what you would call Kampala. If I drove to Philadelphia city right now, you guys have watched videos of Philadelphia, like downtown Philadelphia or some streets in Philadelphia, some towns in Philadelphia, or in LA, in California, or New York City. You smell poverty. You walk and you see a person walking and they smell poverty. There are streets where you find so many prostitutes. But people have a choice at the end of the day. We all have a choice we can make, is what I want to tell you. You can determine what you want to be. You can either decide, I just want to be there and be a beggar and not work and be poor, brand myself as poor or brand myself as a dependent. We all have a choice. Like you look at people who have, like people who challenge me, have no arms, have no legs, but they're making a living. But you have these girls who are just there like to be slay queens, who attract people like Emma, but they just want your 20,000. So they get 20,000 from Emma this hour. In the second hour, they're getting 20,000 from Musinguzi. In another hour, they're getting 20,000 from William. They're just going around. By the end of like 6 hours, they've made maybe like 1 million shillings, right? But it's because of their choice. They've just decided to make that choice to be slay queens, not work, just depend on somebody else. And you are also making a choice to be the feeder, to feed those people. So let's not blame the government. Let's not blame your parents. Let's not blame your friend. Blame yourself. Be like, Emma Ndikuchi, what am I up to? Why am I doing this?
Let me tell you something a little bit. You have talked about poverty. We believe poverty is everywhere. But to what extent? The poverty in US is not the poverty we're having here. You may be lacking food to eat in US, but at the end of the day, you will be sure that some medicine in the hospital is there. So some simple incentives are there to get. But here in Uganda, poverty is like nothing. Things are so expensive, people are running mad. I'm telling you the fact. These are facts on ground. You guys in your countries, things are a bit normal. I believe poverty is there, but it's not like the one you're having here. Here we're having extraordinary poverty, my dear, whereby money is not there. At the same time, you're spending too much for surviving. Even it. So, man, for us, we are blaming our people because we know what they are doing. That government on top, you're just looking at them here, but things went wrong. Are you getting it? So let them first
Brenda,
bring everything in
some-
position. Then we shall also be fine. I'm getting it. So let me first take a break, members.
Yes,
Let me first
yes,
take a break here.
yes.
I'll be joining you later.
Okay, Kale Emma, no problem. KBM, we would like to welcome you to this conversation. Thank you for joining. I of all days, today's when the guys decided to come take care of the lawn. So they're like, I don't know, putting seeds or something. So it's loud. If you guys see me muting myself, it's because it's loud outside. So I'm so sorry. But KBM, welcome to our show. Please introduce yourself, talk about your channel, what you usually talk about, and then jump into the discussion. Let us know what you wanted to tell us.
Sure. Thank you very much, Brenda. So I'm KBM. I'm the host of the channel This is Africa. And basically, the channel is about the positive narrative of Africa, whether if it be informational or bloggers or what have you, just anything and everything about Africa and African YouTubers and non-African YouTubers. It's just the positive outlook of Africa. I've been married for 15 years to a Kenyan and just had our 15th anniversary this past July. And I just want to, okay, I didn't come to the beginning of this live stream, but I just want to say is that, and I wish Emma would have stayed here. I just want to say is that poverty is everywhere. It is absolutely everywhere. And what you see on TV is not always what it is. Okay. And I can understand, Emma, you might think that it's easy in America, but there's a thing here called minimum wage. And minimum wage doesn't cut it. It's usually that will hold somebody over who's single, not married. And in a lot of cities like New York City, minimum wage won't even get you an apartment. You have to live on the street, homeless. And there's a lot of places like that in the US. So, but another thing too, poverty is not an excuse to cheat on somebody, whether if it's your boyfriend or girlfriend and you're not married yet, and especially when you're married. The thing about being a boyfriend and girlfriend status at that point, it gives you an opportunity to actually practice marriage life on how to control yourself, on how to respect each other. Let's put it this way. If you can't respect yourself, how do you expect to respect the other person that you want to be with? And all the slay queens and stuff like that. And there's some guys that I guess you could call them slay kings. You know, there's a lot of them in America, but those people are actually prostitutes. If they're coming after you for money, they may not be the street prostitute, but if they're coming after you for money, and they'll do just about anything for money, these are prostitutes. These are people who are not serious about themselves. They have no respect for themselves, so therefore they have no respect for you. It's a sad situation, but it's true. And a lot of times, yes, poverty will cause people to do things, but at the end of the day, like Brenda said, you at the end of the day, you make your own decision. The person who starts taking drugs on the street, they made the decision to take those drugs. Nobody pushed them to take those drugs. Same thing with the slay queen. If she comes after a guy for 20,000 shillings or 100,000 shillings, and she's willing to do anything, at the end of the day, she made that choice. Doesn't make it right. So, but other than that, any specific questions?
No, so like KBM, I know your wife is in, well, since we're talking about relationships here, your wife is back in Kenya, right?
Yes.
So you're living in a long distance relationship.
Yes.
Thank you for your contribution, by the way. And I agree 100%. We have a choice. Like everybody has a choice to anything. Your relationship is in your hands, is in your heart. So it's everything that you just said, respect and trust and communication. So how do you feel on a daily basis? This usually comes up with some of my friends who are in long distance relationships. How do you feel some level of mistrust or distrust sometimes, or insecurity? not being there with your wife, and does she feel the same? How do you handle being in a long distance relationship, for example?
Well, it's never 100% like comfortable in any type of way, especially when you have to do it. And you learn to cope with it. And to be honest with you, I don't recommend it for anybody. But if you have to do it, the best thing to do is basically Muzunguzi said, we should follow the foundations of the Bible, because there's great solutions there, and he's right. Even if you're not God fearing, in the Bible, there's still situations in the Bible and other books that have taken from the Bible that are real life solutions. So basically, for me and my wife, divorce is not an option. This is something that we decided before we got married. So we hate divorce. So hate is not always a bad thing. We hate divorce. That's not an option. And we do take some foundational solutions from the Bible. So one is for rich or poor. It may sound cliche, but it's so basic and it's so true. We're going to stick together whether if we're going to be rich or we're going to be poor, no matter what. Sickness or in health. Well, we don't want to get sick, but if we are going to get sick, we're going to stick with each other no matter what. So these are the basics. If you actually live by those and actually believe in those, you got to find somebody that thinks like you, that feels like you, right?
Right.
So otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay.
Right.
And if you keep looking to the West, because I've noticed this, there's these guys called like Kevin Samuels or whatever. These are weirdos on YouTube. These people give all this, they talk fancy, they give all this advice, but they're weirdos. Everybody that's on the shows are broken. The person who is the host of the show and others like them, they're broken people. Don't take your advice from people who are weirdos. Go with what, if you look at like your parents, your grandparents, and the relationship survived 30, 40, 50 years until death do us part. You got to take those examples. What did they do? They stayed together in sickness and in health, for richer or poor. They had self-respect to respect the partner. So that didn't just come out of nowhere. So if you're making situations where you're going to blame poverty as the reason why, or everybody's adopting Western ideals, you've already given up.
Yes, I agree. So how do you feel? So the beginning of this conversation, Asperi, I'll be coming to you next. But I hope you're enjoying this discussion, because I know these are things that you actually love to talk about. So but Kenyan by marriage, how do you feel? Because our whole conversation started yesterday with a group of us, with the like Liam and a whole bunch of us were talking about. We're talking about how are you comfortable with your wife, for example, having female friends?
You know what? I don't mind my wife having female friends.
I mean, male friends, actually. No, male friends.
I don't mind her having male friends because, but it's the situation that the friendships, like on a day-to-day basis. Are they in situations where they're going to be alone? Are they in situations where somebody's always doing favors for the other person? That's just not normal. Those are types of situations where you would actually have to sit down with your partner and say, hey, I don't feel comfortable about this, or this doesn't look right in front of the community, because the community is watching. I'll just give a quick example. When I was in Nairobi once, my wife moved into a new place. I was out on the balcony. Everybody's front door shares the balcony. So this woman came out, was just talking. Another woman that lived across from us was married. She was looking at me as if I was getting ready to cheat on my wife. My wife came up and she basically met my wife about halfway down the steps and says, I don't know how they do it in your village, but in our village, my husband would never talk to another woman like that. Right? And I thought it was just a normal conversation. We were right next door to each other. Of course, I'm still learning Kenyan culture or African culture. So just having like what you would consider a normal conversation isn't always normal to somebody else. So I got to take those types of things in consideration. but also how I feel about it. If they're just, good friends and they respect each other, they respect, our marriage, whatever, I'm fine with it. But don't put yourself in situations that temptation would arise. And if one person is being tempted to do things that is not normal, that they shouldn't do, then yeah, I would expect my wife to say, hey, either we can't hang out anymore, or you're going to have to like stop because I'm married or
Mhm.
what have you. So yeah, I don't mind her having friends, but not to hang out with. And that's something that she doesn't do. She has a lot of male friends, passerbyers, whatever, but they don't hang out. And I noticed that a lot of men there, in our area, they don't even try to hang out with my wife. Okay. I haven't seen that. So, but now there's other situations. Well, she would tell me that one of her cousins, is married, and she used to have a relationship with the school teacher at one point, and she's now married to that school teacher, and she came back to Kenya after for a while, right? And they just had a like a meetup to hook up to talk, right? My wife didn't feel very comfortable about that. So, and I understand by the way she described it, I understand where she's coming from. So, yeah, it just depends on how they're handling it. As long as they're
Mhm.
not putting themselves in situations that would get them in trouble, I don't mind.
Yeah, I think what helps, thank you, KBM. I think
Mhm.
what helps, like just to say, if it depends, like, relationships, the marriages are different, people are different. So
Mhm.
you find like somebody that's a KBM, you're married to like Brenda. Brenda is a social girl. Like my husband is downstairs, he can hear me talk about this. So he like knew before, even like when we first met, we were going out. I think it comes down to you understanding your person,
Mhm.
before you actually decide to settle with that person, fully knowing who they are. I mean, of course, some things, if you expect them to change, talk about them when you are actually in a relationship before you decide to settle down. Like, let's say when you're in courtship, when you're still, hanging out as boyfriend, girlfriend. So, like, Brenda would love, like, I was at university, before university when I met my husband. So the whole time we were dating, my life was, I had to go out. Like, I would go dancing every Friday. My friends would be at my hostel immediately and be like, hey, are you ready? Let's go party. So I was not a person who just sat in the hostel, and read books and hang there, watched movies and this and that. No. So, and my husband is the opposite. So he would not, like, even the times would go out, like maybe on the weekends would go to watch soccer. I'm a soccer fanatic. I play soccer and my whole family loves soccer. I live soccer. So if there's a game like at 10 midnight, I'm there. You'll find me. And I don't just like watching by myself. So I'm there. I'll call up my friends. I'm like, hey, where are we watching the game from? Like, I mean, these Arsenal for Africa fans, like Africans fans for like stuff like that. I mean, such groups. So you'd find like I'm going to like bars where there's like a whole bunch of Arsenal supporters, and most of them are men. So, but he would come there and then he'll be like, yeah, soccer, he loves soccer, he would watch with me. But if we're just like hanging out, he's like, hey, I'm tired, I'm going home. Fine, see ya. I'll see you when I get home. So it's understanding your spouse, it's understanding your person, and deciding, am I comfortable with this life? Because you don't expect their life to turn around like 180 degrees to be like, okay, now she's going to be a sit at home woman. Um, no friends, no talking to friends, no watching soccer, no, like her life. Marriage does not, to me, that's not marriage. My life should not turn around 180 degrees to what you want me to be. You also have to meet halfway, like, this makes me comfortable, this doesn't make me comfortable. And then you meet halfway and talk about these things. So communication, sacrificing, you have to sacrifice, like what you love and what you don't love. Like if your wife actually loves eating ugali 24/7, you're not going to get that ugali off her plate because you hate the smell of it or you hate the look of it. I'm just using that as an example, but it could be any other thing. So, but anyway, so you guys, I'm so glad you guys are happy in your distance relationship. I would love to have a conversation on how you guys keep it spiced on a daily basis for how your relationship keeps growing, because otherwise, like Emma was saying, sometimes you spend so much time with the person, that means you're not spending so much time with the other, which could be the long distance relationship. So you find that relationship is going stale. How do you keep it alive, and happening, so to avoid like temptations and stuff like that?
Yeah.
William, behave.
There's something I would like to add, because the day of our wedding, my wife was with one of her in-laws, an auntie, and the auntie, I thought she didn't like me or something. Like, she just kept looking at me with that mean look, or what I thought was a mean look. But what my wife was saying, because we talked about it, and she was laughing. She goes, "No," she was actually telling me something, that now that I'm married, you should find women who are also married to hang out with, and don't hang out with your friends who are not married. And I mean, basically, she really didn't have to explain why. It made a lot of sense. And it's not like she's not friends with people who are not married, who are women, but she actually took that advice. And so most of the people that she actually hangs out with are, in most cases, either a long-term relationship with the person they're not married to, or they're married.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that helps as well. Yeah. I mean, if you have some friends, once you settle down, you might have to cut on the time you spend with a specific type of friends. Let's say if you had friends who were so much drunkards, they love to be out all the time, and yet you have to be home, spend time with your family, and with your family, then you might want to avoid hanging out too much with that person, right? Or with that group. So those are the sacrifices you have to make, so that you can accommodate your other person's desires as well, and create time for your own spouse. Asperia, you've been quiet for too long. What do you think? What we talked about, what do you say?
To talk about the issue of saying that poverty can make someone go for extramarital affairs, I wouldn't buy that, because, as someone said, poverty is everywhere. There was poverty even before Jesus came, and there will always be poverty. Maybe in heaven, that's where we shall not have poor people. So if you love your husband or your wife, I don't think you can cheat on them because they are poor. That is because of selfishness and greed. So if you know my husband earns this kind of money, I earn this kind of money, you should set your life to live and fit within your budget. You don't have to look at what you don't have. The reason why people are going in out is because they are covetous. They don't get satisfied of what is on their tables. So, and another thing is they lust. It is not love. Like Emma said, that you can love the secretary, you can love this because they have been close to you. That is not love. That is lust. And lust is something that you admire someone because you want to explore some kind of mission, maybe sexual intimacy and so on. But if you love your wife or your husband enough, I don't think there would be anything that can let you cheat on them. So on this all thing, contentment is one of the best things that can help you actually overcome this kind of temptation. Brenda, if they bring matoke, I know you love it, though you are there where it is not. If they bring matoke, if they bring chicken, you eat. You get satisfied. You feel your body is satisfied. And then after you're full, you have finished drinking water, you're full, you're comfortable. And then they bring chicken and then chips. Will you still add on, or you say you're satisfied? You know, you will eat this food because of greed, not because you're hungry, not because your body has no food, but but because you are having this kind of greed, you feel you should add more, you feel you should add this, you should taste this, you know. So in marriage, satisfaction is very important. If you're contented, if you eat your food and then be contented, I don't think even if they'll bring any other food that is beautiful, you wouldn't touch it. So if you treasure your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your fiancé, you treasure them, you feel you have enough in them, do not get any temptation. The temptations will come because you are human. You have the flesh, and like men, they're always attracted. Like for us, we all can see a man, even if they remove clothes, you may not be attracted to them. But with a man, you will see this one has a small breast, this one has a big bum, and then they feel like going for more, you know. But if you love your spouse enough, you feel you have everything in her or him, you don't go for more. So it is actually people, they have that belief, especially Africans, that they are poor, you know, they need to live this kind of life. There are poor, there are people who are very poor, but they are very happy. You find the man who doesn't even earn a lot of money, or they don't even have a lot of money, but they are happy because they have learned to treasure, to love, to sacrifice, to be content with their spouses. So Emma, I wouldn't buy all those things that he said. They are really not good. And then also on the issue of going out with the opposite sex, as I was saying, you, like Brenda, you said you love soccer. So if your husband understands that, knows that maybe it's coming in at this time and she has to, you, as long as you have communicated and you have showed room for trust, you know, you are this person maybe who is not trusted. You reach to watch your soccer, you switch off your phone, like you cannot be understood. Someone will not feel comfortable. But if you are open, maybe you tell your fiancé, you know, I have a soccer, I want to go and watch, you know, I'm going out with friends. Someone will feel like this person respects me because they want me to be part of them. Even if I don't have anything to do, even if she kept it secret, I wouldn't do anything. But when you speak to them, they feel honored and respected, and in that way, they trust you. Personally, I wouldn't have any problem my husband having female friends, and he has them. But to which boundary, to which level, you know? So every person has a feeling, every person wants to be respected. Like Emma said, that you can do anything as long as you're not showing your wife or your husband. I think that is torture, emotional terrorism. I don't think if they did it to him, it would be good. No. So
Yeah, he would be bouncing off the walls, like that gay, you know, like all that stuff. Yeah. So I mean, like respect goes both ways. Trust should go both ways. What you do is what you should expect. You know what you don't want, Bagama, like what you don't want people to do to me is the same thing what you shouldn't do to other people. So if you receive a spoon and then somebody gives, you know, you give a spoon as well. So what you gave is what you should be expecting to get. So, and this is, I think, what's happening a lot in all, like most relationships, marriages that I see, some of my close friends, like the guy is cheating on them, and, you know, like most friends are like, hey, you do the same. So you find like they're both cheating on each other, and she's getting satisfaction from somewhere, he's getting satisfaction from somewhere. The guy probably doesn't know that the woman does, or maybe he knows, but he has no choice now because it's like, okay, you caught me, you know. So you're paying evil for evil, and where is this going to lead your relationship in the end? Somehow some of you will end up getting diseases that are incurable from such acts, while you're actually trying to hurt your spouse and things like that. So, but I believe creating time for you as a couple is very major, because what happens is once you lack time, and time is not being together physically, you know, like KBM, you're away from your wife, she's away from you, but creating time is like, how many times do you talk to her in a day? Maybe, like, how often do you communicate? You know, like, our hearts learn to grow out of relationships of love because of time. But the more, it's just like looking at plants. I love plants in my house. So if you don't water those plants, they will dry out, they will die. So it's the same thing as a relationship. So how do you water that relationship? Communication. How often do you talk to your wife or your girlfriend or your spouse, like, or your fiance, whatever? How often? What do you talk about? How deep do you go into conversations with them? Because there's talking to them like, how was your day? It was good. Okay. What else? The other person, so you're talking about like normal casual conversations, but how deep you go into like, okay, this is a conversation that I actually know is going to, even when we hang up tomorrow, she'll be still thinking about this exact conversation. So you want to leave a mark on like that person especially when you're not with them. Even when you're with them, like I'll call my husband like, hey, what are you up to? He's like, I'm working, I'm busy, I'm in the lab. I'm like, okay, I guess that's fine. I'll talk to you later. I'll see you later. And then he'd like call back. It's like, what was it? What did you want to talk about? I'm like, sometimes I'm not even talking about anything. And it's like, I just felt like calling him. I was like, no, nothing. I wanted to see how you're doing. I hope your day's going well. It's like, yeah, I'll see you later. So it's like such little things, but checking in at work and something. If we were like in the same, maybe a close by office, maybe like 10 minutes drive, I would drive there. Hey, are you in the office? Sure, I'll stop by and say hello. I was in your area. Maybe I could bring him lunch, or maybe he could also do the same. You could also come in, and like say, hey, I brought you some lunch. I was in the supermarket. I bought some fruit. I thought about you. Here's some fruits for your lunch. So such stuff, I think, is like great things to do, even when you're still like, even after you're married. I know people do these things when they're in starting their relationships. Boys give flowers and all this stuff, or are there, they call. Even after you're married, it's still a relationship, and you need to water that relationship. Otherwise, you fall, you grow apart. You really grow apart, and it's very easy. And with social media, you find like you're spending more time with like my YouTuber friends, because we talk about things all the time. Like we're constantly talking. So trust me, that group would take over. Like that group of people, not just even one person, but a group of people might take over that relationship that you have with your spouse. Like every time you feel like talking about something, you run to a WhatsApp group. You're like, hey guys, what are you up to? But you need to create time and talk, communicate with your spouses. All right, guys, anything else you want to add? I feel like we've been on this for too long. I want to close and get back to work. Otherwise, I'm about to get fired.
Yeah, quick note.
Yeah.
And I know the topic is when you're married, and how do you feel about your spouse having friends of the opposite sex? But also we have to watch out for the same sex, because same
True.
sex friends can be time killers. Basically, take up a lot of time and influence your partner to hang out with them, to do a lot of things with them, like more than usual. Right?
That's true. That's true, actually. Yes.
So that's also something that you might want to look out for. If you're in a long-term relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, and then of course, especially when you're married, and especially if you got kids, make sure other friends are not taking too much of your marriage time away from each other. So that's it.
Yeah, thank you so much, KBM. That's a good point. That's a good point, because you might have like your husband has like his friends who are guys, and they want to spend all the time with them after work. They want to go out. They want to go for some muchomo. They want to go soccer. They want to do all these things. That's something as girls. After this, your girls are like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So you find you're spending too much time with your friends, then you should be spending some time with your other half as well, and your family, children and stuff also need you. Yes, Asperia, what do you want to say? Your closing remarks here. You're muted.
Oh, sorry for this. When you talk about relationship and marriage, it is something that you can talk from morning to evening without getting tired, because it's an interesting part and it's one of the challenges that people are facing today. So, to our viewers, I also like to say thank you so much for viewing us, and I would only want to leave them with some things. If you're married, please sacrifice, have self control, and love your spouse. That you can go out, you can do something thinking that no one is seeing you, but when God is seeing you. So please have respect for your spouse and protect them even when no one is seeing you. And then I also want to, Brenda, tell your viewers also to subscribe to my YouTube
Yes,
channel.
yes, yes, please, yes. Please check out, like I already said, I've been commenting in the comment section. Please check out Asperia K Wagabaga, Wagabaga, to her channel, and please support her. She really, like, this is her niche. Like, that's why I wanted her to be on this live show, because I was like, hey, I know you would love this, and you can talk until cows come home. In my tribe, they say you could talk until when the cows leave in the morning until when they come back at night. So, but please check her out and support her. She's a growing new YouTuber, like most of us started. Let's support her and let her. I think the world needs to know, to learn about all these things. Relationships, marriages are failing, especially with the .com people. So I think she has a really good niche, and you guys could benefit from it. If not, your kids or whoever might be able, or your friends might be able to benefit from it. So thank you so much, Asperia, for joining me. I'm so sorry for your internet, but I'm so glad it's settled and we were able to actually have a great conversation, a great live. To you, all the viewers, everybody who was in the comment section, I appreciate you. Liam. Liam is also a YouTuber. He's my president for the Ugandan YouTubers. Please go and support him. It's all about investments and real estate. If you're abroad and you're thinking of buying land in Uganda, for example, he's the guy to talk to. He would like direct you to the right channels. Musinguzi is my travel my world traveler. He's my African traveler. So anywhere that you would like to visit in Uganda, he'll be able to point you to the right direction. So I love that about what he broadcasts, how he promotes Uganda as well. Joanne, thank you so much for joining us. All these guys are YouTubers. Please check the channels out and support them. And Joanne, Obadiah, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you later at Happy Hour, YouTubers. Stay blessed. Take care. Bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, please. You can share with your friends as well and family if you think they would love this conversation. So go ahead and share and like the video. Thank you so much. Stay blessed. Bye-bye. Emma, thank you too for joining us and running away, but I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy, but we appreciate your time as well. So otherwise, take care. Bye-bye, guys.